I feel like this is my home.
Very Zionist of you. Are you white? Are you a colonizer?
For hundreds of years, there's always been Jewish communities in what was then Palestine.
Go back to where you came from. What actually are you?
I'm a Jew. Violent diaspora has made us have a millennium of forced assimilation, genocide. People who colonize a land don't have any origin in there. But when Jews returned to Israel, they found ancient synagogues. We pray in the direction of Jerusalem thing. We're not returning to a place that you have had no connection to or no presence in.
Thank you to my patrons on Patreon for funding my content. I cannot make these videos without your support, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, patrons. You're the best.
Shalom chaverim, and welcome back to Israel. I am in a little moshav outside of Bet Shemesh, which is near Jerusalem, and I am here with a special guest.
Maya!
Hi Maya, who are you?
I am a 24-year-old woman living in Israel right now. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I've been living in Israel for around 2 years. And I live in this moshav. I'm a writer. I run a magazine called Yad Mizrahi. And yeah, that's there's nothing else.
And me and Maya have been Instagram friends for a little while now, and we made a decision to film a really cool video today about sort of what it's like to be a Mizrahi Jew or a Jew of Mizrahi descent. We actually come from a very similar background, so well, maybe you can show me a little bit about your life and your.
Please.
Yeah.
Bruchim habayim. And okay, So
tell me a little bit about like your life, your apartment. What in here is? I know every Mizrahi Jew always has a little something that they spice their house with.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So here's this is a family heirloom rug. It's basically a rug that my aunt bought from Turkey like a while ago, and she gave it to my parents, and then it's like hand woven, wool, everything. They gave it to me, I brought it with me to college, and I've just been taking it with me everywhere that I've lived so far in my life. So I forced my parents to bring it to me in Israel. Now it's here. Before it was in Jerusalem. Now it's in this moshav. And what else? Here's some interesting
very Israeli of you.
I found a bullet.
Very Zionist of you.
This is I don't know what this is. It's a bullet. This is interesting. This is a Roman oil lamp from the 2nd century that I have a friend he's 82. I visit him once a week. We're like homies, and it's a long story. He gave this to me. He has a lot of different archaeology. And I have tons of seashells from Israel. I'm a collector. I'm like a little mouse. I could collecting.
This, by the way, is a very Mizrahi trait.
For real?
For real. My family, you go to my grandma's house, a Iraqi grandma, it's literally just a bunch of shit. It's from all the years. In my house too. Yeah. It's just a bunch of collections. My mom, same exact. We have a problem. We hoard. We're hoarders.
We're hoarders. I agree with that. Okay, so this is maybe one of the most special things that I own, and this is also something that I'm very connected with. Just in terms of my background and roots and stuff. This is a ancient Judeo-Persian fertility amulet.
Wow.
Let's see. I
didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Okay, so Maya was explaining that she's making it her life goal to decipher it. If you're not gonna be able to see so well on the camera, but there's a bunch of Hebrew letters carved into both sides of this. Are they the same design on both sides? Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So what have you come up with?
I made it my mission. So I don't know if this is something that is good for me to do because I've encountered the 42-letter name of God more times than I can count, and I've written it down and spelled it out and stuff. But anyways, it's very interesting. The way Jewish amulets work, basically each number in each line, I'll put it side by side here. Each number in each line needs to add up symmetrically. So as you can see here, all the letters here, even though they're, let's see, all the letters here add up to 480. Even though they're different words here, they all add up to 325 here. They all add up to 194 here. They all add up to 325. And of course, they all add up to 180 here. or sorry, 480 here. So there needs to be symmetry in this way. That's what makes an amulet like magical. There's like the magical square element of it. And then basically, what else? Let me think.
You did this? This is you?
Like, did I decipher all of this? This
Yeah.
is all me? Yeah.
This is all your handwriting?
This is all my handwriting.
Wow, you're so cool.
Do I have good handwriting? Why? Why do you mention it?
It wasn't about the handwriting. It was just like, this is like some detective shit. Like, this is super
thank
cool.
you. Yeah, no. It's really
I love how you went through that. Do I have good handwriting? I wasn't paying attention to that.
You're like, wait, this is your handwriting? I'm honored.
That's not what I was paying attention to.
No one's ever complimented my handwriting before. No. Yeah, so then basically, as you can see here in the first line, it says Ayin, Shin, Tzadik, Yud, Yud, which comes from basically the Sefer Raziel, which is a Kabbalistic work. The Sefer Raziel explains that this name is composed of the 5 letters which immediately follow the Tetragrammaton, like Yud He Vav He, in Psalm 121. And so since the tetragram, since Yud He Vav He appears 5 times in this psalm, the name is composed of 5 letters. By its use, the psalm, with all its protective influences, is invoked, particularly for protection in childbed.
In short, though, basically it's supposed to make you fertile. Like, that's the idea of it. It's like a fertility.
It helps you with fertility. It helps you in childbed, like in childbirth, like recovery.
Have you worn it ever, or are you going to wear it?
I wear it every night.
Oh, really?
No. No, I'm wearing it.
Can you wear it real quick? Or like, do you mind putting it on, or is
go
it?
Ahead. You can wear it if you want.
I don't
know if you're looking to get pregnant.
I'm not looking to get pregnant at the moment. It's a pretty like powerful piece. Like, it's a statement.
When I first got it, like, I wore this all day in
Really?
Jerusalem, all over the bus, and people were staring at me like I was a fucking witch.
Oh, really? I feel like it's more like a Jerusalem hippie thing. I feel like I've seen so many Jerusalem hippies.
You've seen something like this?
In Jerusalem hippies, yeah, for sure.
I was like not even I was wearing like tank top and jeans, like I looked like some, but then like this thing was on, like looking like what the hell is this? Yeah, and I think this is ivory. Here, the beads here, it's like obviously metal.
So cool that you have something like this. Like, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, no, it used to be.
Amulets
used to be a huge thing in the Jewish world.
Wow, I had no idea.
Huge thing, not just in the Middle East and North Africa, but also in I know like Italian Jews until maybe the 18th century, maybe until 19th century, even Italian Jewry used amulets constantly. It was like a really big thing in Italian Jewry, but also obviously Persian and this is a Persian amulet, but there's amulets, Jewish amulets all over the Middle East and North Africa. So
do you know how old it is by chance?
I don't exactly know the age. I'm guessing it's around 300 years old.
That's crazy. Wow, that's kind of like an archaeology piece right there.
And it's in my house. I don't know why.
Well, it's currently around your neck.
Well, it's around my neck. Yeah. Should I just wear this for the rest of the time?
For the rest of the video, you can if you want to.
Okay.
So, Maya, we're walking around right now in your moshav. What is actually a moshav, Maya? Because the place kind of looks a little bit like rural, and it looks a little...
Why don't you do like a little like, just so you see like...
Yeah, like it looks like an old... Specifically this building, this looks like from the beginning of the State of Israel type building.
Yeah, no, they began as small agricultural communities in Israel. Here's some pretty flowers. As the years went on, as Israel modernized and industrialized, the agricultural part of it was kind of phased out, although there are people still who do agricultural things in Moshav, like growing watermelons, having chickens, maybe having some livestock, stuff like that. For now, they're just villages. Like, for my non-Jewish friends, the way I describe it is like just, this is the village I live in, or like, my boyfriend's village, or whatever. And they really are villages. I mean, this is the best translation.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even though it's a unique Israeli thing, the best translation is just, it's like a village, because everyone here it's a very tight-knit community. Typically, Moshavim in Israel have different specific like ethnicities or ethnic origins of where they were founded. This moshav is a Yemenite moshav, and my boyfriend's moshav is a Kuchini Jewish moshav. So they're Jews that came from Kuchin, which is a city in southern state of Kerala in South India. So that's kind of, and this moshav, I don't know what I hear. You can even see some old like farm stuff.
Yeah, where are you taking me, by the way? Are you like taking me to execute me in the woods or something?
I'm taking you to the river nearby.
Dump my body in the river.
Dump your body, yeah.
Look at this place. This is beautiful. Or your grandparents, were they living in the States?
No, my grandmother was born in a small village in Iraq called Nasiriyah, and my grandfather was born in Baghdad. It's a long story. They met when she was 14, he was 28. She was supposed to marry a 40-year-old bald fiddler. He ended up stealing her away. Long story for another time.
Sounds some crazy Iraqi shit.
Yeah, it was some crazy Iraqi shit. Wait, I just wanna
feel the stream.
I just like wanna know.
Channel in.
I wanna make sure that I'm going the right. Wait. Wait, no.
Don't trust Iraqis. We're crazy people. It's funny because I keep referring to you as Iraqi, but I feel like maybe at this point of the video it's important to make the clarification. Like, I also am technically Iraqi, but being a Mizrahi Jew, especially from the backgrounds that we come from, like living or being raised in the diaspora in the US, we're not truly Iraqi. We're not truly Mizrahi. We are in a lot of ways, we aren't in a lot of ways. But like, what is your actual, like, what is your... Are you white, Maya? Are you a colonizer? Are you what are you?
No, I don't think so. Last time I checked.
Like, what do you consider yourself? What do you identify as?
I mean, I'm a Jew. That's what I am. I'm a Jew, and you know, unfortunately, our violent diaspora has made us like have millennium of ethnic diversity from, you know, forced assimilation, forced conversions, rape, our children being kidnapped and raised in different, you know, to be raised in different places or religions, genocide, like, you know, ethnic cleansing. So, I mean, my mom is like, my mom has an interesting family story. My mom is Ashkenazi, but her great-grandfather, so my great-great-grandfather, they fled from Lithuania to Ottoman Turkey because there were really bad pogroms happening in Lithuania. But it's very weird because the one picture we have of my great-grandfather, he's dressed in like full Turkish Jewish garb, like the black robes and the fez and like everything like that. So we're like
seemingly assimilated,
like fully assimilated into, you know, Ottoman Jewish society. Which is interesting that they came from Lithuania. So I'm not sure what happened there. Oh God, here's another truck. Jeez! I've never seen so many trucks before.
This is 2024 persecution of the Iraqi Jews right here.
I'm choking on dust.
You're seeing it live in action, ladies and gentlemen.
Racist. No, they basically then, in the late 1800s, my great-grandfather and great-grandmother came to Jerusalem and lived in Jerusalem, where my great-grandfather Jacob was born. He was born in Jerusalem in 1901. It actually says on his passport, which we still have, it says on his passport as Palestine as his place of origin.
So it's funny that you consider him Ashkenazi because his, like, maybe his, at one point his origins were in Lithuania, then moved to Turkey, then moved to Palestine.
Right, but I mean, even there was for hundreds of years, there's always been different types of Jewish communities in, you know, in what was then Palestine. So, for instance, you could have like Ashkenazi Jews who had been in, you know, Palestine for a very, very long time, for hundreds of years, but they weren't like ethnically Palestinian or Arab or whatever you want to call it. They were like ethnically like Ashkenazi Jewish, which is its own distinct ethnic group, and same for Sephardic Jews. So what was the original question again?
I don't know, but I hear the stream.
I hear it too. Here it is. No, it's a little
Look at that. The land of Israel. She gives so much. You've talked a lot about, like, obviously your Mizrahi origin.
Yeah.
But, like, what actually are you? Like, what when it comes to, like, summing it all up, what is Maia? What kind of a Jew are you? What kind of a person are you?
Like, what you mean, like, ethnically? Like, or what do you, or just any...
What do you feel? Like, how would you respond? Like, somebody comes up to you and says, what are you?
It was someone asked me, I'm an Iraqi Jew. I feel very, like, rooted in my, like, father's traditions and everything. Typically also in the Jewish tradition, the cultural traditions and the religious cultural traditions are passed down through the father.
What I see, like, out of all my travels in this land and knowing the Mizrahi diaspora, I would actually say that I think you look very Palestinian.
Really?
Like, you have a lot of features to me that I would consider Palestinian.
Okay.
But being people who are online and we're interacting, we're speaking to people, I'm sure that if you haven't gotten it yourself, your friends are, if you've heard of it, like, how would you feel if somebody told you to go back to where you came from? Like, where would you go? Would you choose Jerusalem? Would you choose Lithuania? Would you choose Iraq? Would you choose Persia? Or...
I mean, I don't think it's a question that's necessarily relevant to me per se, because I grew up, you know, I'm very lucky to be an American Jew that had the, you know, other Jews were not so lucky at all. I mean, I have a family in LA, I have a home in LA. I think the question is much more relevant for even someone like my father and his family, who his family fled from Iraq to Iran and only a few decades later had to flee from Iran to the United States, basically, because of, like, you know, Islamic fascism and, you know, just horrific, violent anti-Semitism. When Jews returned to Israel, they found ancient synagogues that are still active to this day, synagogues from the 14th, 15th century, that are still active to this day, and were still active, you know, to the point where when Jews started to return. Schools, communities, our language, our Hebrew, and, you know, Hebrew as our, you know, native language and stuff, like, that was widely spoken here. You know, it's something that's in the Jewish spiritual doctrine, where we pray in the direction of Jerusalem 3 times a day, and we have been doing so for thousands and thousands of years. Like, that doesn't just come from nothing. We're not returning to a place that we have, you know, basically have had no connection to or no presence in for the last, like, basically since we were forced from it.
Maya, we talked about a lot of interesting topics right now when it came to, like, identity in the Middle East and whatever. But I know that you run a magazine. What are these some of the topics that you touch on? Do you talk about this kind of stuff?
A little bit. The magazine is called Yad Mizrach magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first Mizrahi Sephardic literary magazine in the English-speaking world. We are international, though. We're based in Jerusalem. So we have writers from all different places, from Israel, the United States, European countries, like, everywhere. Basically, we want to create a platform for Mizrahi and Sephardic, like, voices, just to, I mean, it's not just about opinion pieces or op-ed or, you know, political pieces. It's also, like, just creative writing and storytelling and poetry and visual art, photography, painting, sketches, all different types of things, just as an artistic avenue for people to, like, Mizrahi people and Sephardic people, not just them, by the way. It can also be, anyone can submit, just as long as it's rooted in that, like, Sephardi and Mizrahi culture and heritage and history. Basically to just have a space to platform that and showcase it and feature it.
Sort of giving people from our ethnic background, like, a hub to express their creativity.
Yeah, exactly, because that doesn't really exist right now.
True.
It doesn't exist.
That's amazing. That's a really cool project, and maybe, just maybe, I'm teasing something. Maybe I'll be featured on there at some point. Who knows? Who knows? I'm getting pretty hungry.
Okay. I have, it's called Dome Yakalam.
Dome Yakalam.
Dolme Yakalam. It's basically a Iranian cabbage roll dish. It's cabbage rolls stuffed with meat, herbs, spices, peas, like, just, it's delicious.
Are we going to a restaurant to try that?
No, I made it.
You made it?
I made it.
Oh, I want to go. Let's go. I'm hungry. I'm very excited to eat. I always love when I make these episodes to sit down, have food with whoever I'm filming with, so we can have conversation over food. I feel like the dynamics, obviously me and Maya have had good vibes from the second we started filming, but, like, sometimes when you're doing an episode that's more controversial, more contentious, sitting down over food sort of calms everything down. It brings everything down to like a level.
I've been very angry by the things he's been saying. They're very controversial and upsetting to me. I need to calm down and eat food.
You didn't see how many times that knife was pointed at me in between the last take. All right, so here we go. We're plating up right now.
Here we go.
We got the rice and the
the dolme, yeah.
Dolme. I haven't, besides my grandma, I haven't sat down for like a home cooked meal in a long time as
Really?
well. Yeah.
So, this is the first time I'm also eating this.
So here's the look for you. There's the bite. You see the cabbage with the beef. Beef? Chicken?
It's like ground beef, yeah.
Ground beef.
Mm-hmm.
Cabbage. Smells really good. Mmm.
It's good?
Mm.
You're not lying, right?
No, it's fantastic.
You're not trying to flatter me. Okay.
Not at all. As I said, I like to have a conversation over food.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting. I feel like it's also where Jews thrive the most, is like over food. First question I'm interested in. I'm sure they are as well. Are you a Zionist? Would you consider yourself a Zionist?
I think the concept, yes. At the same time, I feel like at this point, the Jewish people have always had this concept of Zionism, but returning to like Zion, our homeland and stuff, for thousands of years. But like, it was achieved. Like literally, Israel is the achievement of Zionism.
And it's over now.
At this point, I mean, I get why people call themselves Zionists, and if people ask me, like, are you a Zionist? Like, I would say, yes, I am.
Now, to expand on that, like, I know obviously, like, Zionism can be a triggering concept for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It always comes with a side conversation about the conflict. And, like,
right.
I know you haven't lived your entire life here, but obviously you've been here for a significant amount of time now.
Yeah.
And you've been here through a very difficult time, too, which is the war.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, desires about the conflict? Do you have interaction with Palestinian people? Do you know many Palestinian people?
At least since I started living here, like, I've realized that I've had to take kind of like prejudice that Arabs have against Jews and Israelis, and also vice versa, like the prejudice that Israelis have against Arabs. I've kind of had to take it with like almost a grain of salt. The concept of multiculturalism that exists in the US, it just like doesn't exist here. Like, it's just a foreign concept and stuff. I came in 2018, and I was here for 3 months, and I was doing farming on like Mount Carmel and stuff. And I decided the last 2 weeks I was here to go to the West Bank for 2 weeks, just purely not out of anything political, like just purely out of curiosity of like, what are these places and who are these people? I knew inside I should not tell people I'm Jewish. But I also kind of went in with this naivety of like, oh, well, all people, like most people are good, which I don't know how I feel about that now. I go back and forth. Are most people good or are most people bad? And it was actually at one point, I went on a walk around the city after Saturday lunch, and I was sitting on this like low brick wall, and this Palestinian group of women and children like walked past me maybe like 50 meters away or something like that. Of course, there's no acknowledgement, no nothing. A lot of the kids, I would see the kids, I'd kind of try to smile at them or like wave at them a little. They would, stick their tongues out at me or run away from me. They're scared of me. I appear like a settler to them. And they're walking, and this one of the 6-year-old boys, he like kind of glances at me, and I just wave at him, and then he just stopped, like, dead in his tracks completely. And then, everyone stopped and looked at him, and then looked at me, and then looked at him. And there's, like, this just silence, like, this tense silence for a moment. Like, there's just this group of women and children and me sitting on this wall. And then the boy waved back at me. And I waved back at him. And then he waved back at me, and for about like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, we were just going back and forth, waving back and forth. And then he says, hi. And I said, hi. And then he said, hi. And we went back and forth like that again for like another 20 seconds of just saying hi. And it was almost like the just literally the acknowledgement of the other person's existence, like, melted the tension that existed there.
Broke the ice completely.
Broke the ice. They came up to me and they were like, who are you? Like, what? Where did you come from? And I was like, oh, I'm here at my family's house for Shabbat dinner.
Okay, so tell me, like, what are your hopes, desires? What is your future of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict?
I mean, look, it's hard to think about right now because of just like everything with the war.
Yeah.
The destruction that has happened, not just to just the pure destruction that has happened. I've seen the videos, it's like horrifying and brutal, but like I can only speak for, the Israeli side, which is that it's just the whole country is in like, PTSD mode of like 800,000 evacuated people. The north is on fire. There's still communities most communities in the south are still evacuated. There's been communities that are just like have been burned to the ground. It's like at the end of the day, I can only control who I am and what I'm doing. I know the kind of person that I am and that I want to be, that I want my children to be, that I want my inner circle to be, and that's like enough.
Anyways, I'm gonna let Maya get back to eating because she doesn't eat when she talks, which is fair, but this girl need to eat. We got very full bellies right now. Maya, thank you so much for the food. Thanks for an awesome day.
You're welcome.
Check out Maya's magazine Yad Mizrach down below in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you long time. Goodbye, Klats.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to monetarily support the channel. Some of the best ways to support me happen to be PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining our Patreon community. Links to them can be found in the pinned comments or the description of every one of my videos. Joining my Patreon community gives you access to exclusive content and the chance to talk to me on our Discord server. I also go live almost every day here on YouTube. And after my live streams, me and my patrons from Patreon head over to our Discord server to an exclusive after-party hangout. Your support is the only way that I can keep creating the content that you love watching for me. Thank you.